We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, Boxing Ego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Up the mother, cause I'm down for my ninja. What? Up the mother, cause I'm down for my. Boom, do 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 do. Up the mother ninjas, cause I'm down for my ninjas. What? I ride for my ninjas. I up the mother ninjas. Shakur Stevenson, he riding with his brother, Terence Bud Crawford. He said it ain't no debate. Terence Crawford got to be pound for pound number one, not Naoya Inoue. That's what I want to talk about in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you come in, subscribe to the channel. Best in the business, best to ever do this. You guys see the social media handles at the top of this video. Follow me on X, Instagram, and also YouTube. Now, Shakur Stevenson took to his social media and he had to air things out. Make sure you guys hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and to be notified, hit the bell notification icon. Somebody made this graphic. It says, who's number one pound for pound? And it has the king crown, and it's a picture of Naoya Inoue on the left, and it has Terence Crawford on the right. Shakur Stevenson takes to his social media. It says, this ain't debatable. Bud is number one. Stop trying to always take credit from Broski. So you see, Shakur Stevenson ain't having it. He said you got to give his brother Terence Crawford all the props, all the praise in the world. He's the number one fighter. Now, I made videos about Terence Crawford. He pretty much went to his social media and proclaimed the same thing. Like, he says, I'm that dude. This is my era. I'm pound for pound. So it's clear Terence Crawford feels exactly the same way as Shakur Stevenson. What does Ego think? The Ego thoughts? After a word from our sponsor. Stay tuned to the end of this video. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. So it's like an AIDS test. What's the results? Not positive. Who's the best? Pac, Nas, and Big ain't no best. East, West, North, South, lost out, greedy. High embrace y'all with napalm. Listen, who's the best? Ego thoughts. I gotta say it's Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford gotta be number one. Stop playing with him. See, the thing about me, you heard, is I ain't a hater. I picked Terence Crawford to lose. So what would I be and who would I be to not give props when I was wild wrong? You know, I never picked against Terence Crawford. And the one time I picked against Terence Crawford in the Errol Spence fight earlier this year, in July, I believe, he made me regret it. He made me and it's not like he made me into a believer, because I've always told you that Terence Crawford can fight. He can adapt. You know, he has different styles, if you will, and he finds a way to win. He's very competitive. I told that to Terence Crawford's face one time. You know, I said I'll beat him in a game of Uno, and he was like, nah. Like, and he was just competitive just in and of itself. So it gotta be Terence Crawford. For me, I agree with Shakur Stevenson 1000%. This is not even debatable. It's not something that I have to go back and forth and like jog my brain. Like, this is not, it's like there's certain, let's say the Academy Awards, the Oscars. There's certain movies where it's like, nah, Denzel gotta win that. I don't care, none of them other movies. I watched the other movies and nobody had a better performance than Denzel in Glory or Denzel in Training Day. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's not like I put a gun to your head, huh? Jake! Yeah, you know I'm surgical with this bit. Yeah, my man. Right? So certain years, it's just kind of definitive. You watch the nominees, and if you watch the movies, you're like, nah, Brad Pitt gotta win that. Leonardo DiCaprio gotta win that, or whoever the person is that given year. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's like that. And right now, number one, pound for pound, it's like that. It gotta be Bud Crawford. Because first of all, people want to play dumb. And see, this is what I hate about boxing. I hate it because people act like bozos in this sport, like almost as if it's a gang, like Crip or Blood. If you wearing a blue flag, you can't wear the red flag. I like Naoya Inoue. He's a good fighter, but I'm not going to lie for him or any other fighter on my channel. Terence Crawford got more fights. He got more like variety in the opponents that he's fighting. Like he's fighting, if you look at Crawford, he don't fight one style. Like he fight no matter who, like it's a mean machine, somebody who can box and punch a bit. He's fighting Errol Spence, who's a big power, boxer, puncher, an Olympian. Like he's fought other Olympians like Felix Diaz. He's fought kind of like mindless brawlers with a big punch like John Molina. So it's like you give any puzzle piece to Terence Crawford, he's figuring a way out. Like when I'm looking at Inoue's opponent, there's not really that much diversity in the styles that he's fighting. Like no one that I'm looking at is like, yo, I think this guy's gonna beat Inoue. Like he became undisputed by fighting Paul Butler. You know what I mean? And he's like, come on, bro. And you could say, oh, but Crawford fought Ndongo. At the time, at least, Ndongo had a couple cool wins like Ricky Burns. He knocked the Troy Navsky, which was a rated guy, and he was pretty tall and big. And it was Crawford that took the fighter's O. And Crawford's been doing that. Like Inoue, when's the last time he took a guy's O? Somebody that you thought was super sound and thought could beat him, and he took their O. Because that's exactly what Terence Crawford did to Errol Spence, a guy that even myself thought would beat Terence Crawford in the matchup. He took his O. Inoue's fighting a 40-year-old Donaire, and it was a tug-of-war style fight where he had a broken jaw and like a broken nose in that particular fight, or his orbital. He had facial damage from taking them left hooks and them punches from a powerful 40-year-old Donaire. You ain't never seen Terence Crawford get in any kind of fistic fight, and at the end of the fight, Terence Crawford got a broken jaw. Terence Crawford got broken orbitals and knee surgery. This just never happened. Out of all the litany of styles that he's faced, that has never happened. So there's no way I could put Inoue. I like him. He's technical, but the divisions he's in, he's clearly the best in that weight class. And, he's just the most dynamic guy down there. Terence Crawford is really in some popping divisions, not really when he was at 35 and 40, but more so 40. But listen, it doesn't even matter. He beat the match of the century for undisputed. So he was the first to be 2X undisputed. I get it that Inoue did it in a shorter period of time, but that's also politics. Like sometimes it aligns like that. Them fighters in the little booger weight, snot weight divisions and stuff, they don't have all the complexities. Like it's easier to make some of those fights. There's not a bunch of sides of the street, and like these are big, high profile names like Keith Thurman, Errol Spence, Ugas Crawford, Virgil Ortiz, Conor Benn, who all got their own individual situations, and you have to navigate through those waters to make those fights. That's why Jaron Ennis never fought Virgil Ortiz, and Virgil Ortiz is moving up in weight. You know what I'm saying? So I can't really even compare that. Terence Crawford, he was the first to do it, and his path is his path. In a way, it just so happened the fights that he needed to become undisputed, his promotional team was able to get those fights. But that's more politics than anything else. So I agree with Shakur Stevenson. This is not even debatable. The guy got more fights, Terence Crawford. The guy fought more variety in styles, Terence Crawford. And even look at Errol Spence Jr. versus that's who Terence Crawford just fought to become undisputed, no? And then in a way just fought Marvin the Martian or whatever the dude's name is, Marlon Wayans. Look up Marlon, say cheese. And before the fight, he was like 37-3 or something like that with 3 knockouts. So he ain't no Errol Spence Jr. in his division. That's why, like, bro, we're just look at the man got 4 losses now, and he had 3 losses before. So that means he had 2 knockouts. He had been knocked out 2 times before Inoue even got him, and he had lost 3 fights. So lost 3 fights, one of them being in 2019 against, who is it? So in 2019, Marlon, he fought and lost to Kenan Ryu or whoever this dude is by knockout in the 11th round. And he was dropped in rounds 3 and round 11. Ain't nobody dropped Errol Spence before Terence Crawford. So just looking at the last opponent in which those fighters became 2X undisputed, my point has now been made. This man Crawford beat Errol Spence, who was recognized on the pound for pound list. Ain't nobody had Marlon Wayans or Marlon Brando or whatever this dude's name is. Ain't nobody had him on no pound for pound list at all. So Errol was regarded, and then now people are saying, and I'm not saying this is right, I'm just going off of fans, but fans are now calling for Errol Spence's retirement. They're like, oh, he need to retire based on the butt kicking from Terence Crawford. I've literally seen comments that suggested this, that said, oh, Errol Spence, he got to hang it up, he got to wrap it up, wompty, because of how one-sided the beatdown was. Nobody said that about the Marlon dude because nobody was really even checking for him. I know for a fact he wasn't on nobody's pound for pound list. So great win to Inoue. He's a beast. You know, he got skill, but this is a no contest. Y'all try to make things more complicated than need be, especially when it involves a black fighter like Terence Crawford. Now it's like, oh, I don't know. I'm scratching my head. There's nothing to scratch your head about. As I've broken down in this unpacked video, Crawford has more fights. Crawford, he became 2X undisputed before Inoue. And in the same year as Inoue, people keep bragging that Inoue did it in a shorter period of time. That's all based on politics. Inoue got 26 fights and no losses with 23 knockouts. That's great. Crawford got 40 with 31 knockouts. I mean, so the volume in which Crawford has been on top has been longer. So the longevity's on Crawford's side. Definitely the southpaw that it took to beat to become undisputed a second time. Errol Spence is by far a more accomplished and decorated southpaw that Crawford beat to become 2X undisputed, as opposed to Inoue's a southpaw opponent from the Philippines who had already been stopped twice. What are we talking about? Errol Spence, I don't even remember him being dropped before Terence Crawford. Crawford drops him 3 times and made it look like way different levels. This, Shakur is 1,000% right. This is not even a debate. You put Crawford in there with different people and one person comes out, and it's always been Crawford thus far. And it's gonna take probably him to fight someone bigger or outside of his weight class, his current weight class, for that to change. Gotta be Crawford. Easy work. Subscribe.